Hi everyone, this is Nikki Rowland and today I have a layout for Simple Stories. I'm using the very beautiful Simple Vintage Lakeside collection, which as you can imagine is lakeside themed. So I've pulled out a couple of pattern papers that I really like. So I've pulled out this dark paper with foliage all over it. It's got some butterflies on there as well. It's very pretty. I've put out a green solid paper from the Simple Vintage Lakeside Basics pack. And I've also put out the black and white striped paper as well. I really like that one too. So I've put out those and I'm hoping to do something with those. So I'm starting off with a pair of compasses and I've drawn a circle onto this background here, and then I'm cutting it out. I just completely eyeballed it, and then I got to this point I was like, no, it's too small. So then I had to try and figure out how to draw a bigger circle without remeasuring, because obviously I have to remove the middle of the paper, so I've lost the point of the compass. Anyway, managed that fine, no problem, by putting the piece back in and redraw a slightly bigger circle, and then I've just cut that out freehand using my scissors. And I'm not too worried that it's not overly perfect, because I like to distress the edges of my layouts and things anyway. So here I am distressing the edges of that circle, and I'm going to back it with that beautiful green paper from the Basics pack. So I'm trimming down the Basics paper because I'm basically going to stick it on the back of the layout, and it's hard to match up exactly 12 by 12, isn't it? So I normally trim it down if I'm going to do something like that. I've also added foam pads all the way around the outside edge of that circle, on the back, of course, and then I'm going to put regular tape along the edges. Here you go, you can see me doing it just there, and then I'm going to just position it over the top. So now I have flat edges, but I have dimension around where the circle is, so it feels like an aperture. I've pulled out some of these beautiful chipboard clusters, and I'm trying to work out if I can make those work on the layout. I do love using chipboard on my layouts. I feel that it has a nice texture, nice dimension, gives another look to things. So I was planning to use some chipboard. But the clusters are quite big, and I wasn't sure if having one on the bottom left and one on the top right was right, because I feel like I needed one to be significantly smaller than the other one. So in the end, I've put the two together down in this bottom corner, and I'm making a big cluster for my photos to sit. I had initially thought about maybe having my two photos separate in separate places, but actually no, I decided to put the two chipboard clusters together and the two photos together. So I think it works. So I'm happy with how that's looking. And then I'm looking now for something smaller to go in the top right to balance out the big cluster at the bottom. So I've picked out one of those beautiful wooden rounds. The one I've chosen it says time to unplug, which is really very relevant, and I wanted some foliage and some leaves and things to go underneath that wood grain round. So I've found the Nature Bits pack, which is normally packed full of leaves and nature items. So sometimes they're floral bits, sometimes they're nature bits, sometimes they're whatever other things. Like we've had rainbow bits, and I think we have butterfly bits and lemon bits and things like that. So it's fun to have a pack like that. So I put out a few leaves that I'm going to cluster at the top there as well. I really love the little signpost icon that runs through this collection. I've pulled out one from the ephemera, the bits and pieces pack. It says Trail Lake Lodge, and I've just poked that in at the top of the large cluster on the left. I'm at this point I'm thinking I need to mount my photos. They're kind of blending into the background a little bit, so I've pulled out this really bold striped black and white paper. It's one of the ones I initially pulled out as really liking, and I've just cut two photo mounts. They're just ever so slightly smaller than my photos, and mounting those onto there, and I'm going to distress the edges before getting those stuck in place. Okay, so it's kind of coming together nicely now. I'm just going to start now sticking everything in place. Okay, so all stuck down now, and now I'm also adding a title. I've gone for just add water. That's a chipboard sticker, so I've just added that there at the top. It's overlapped the wood grain piece there, so I've just raised it up on foam pads so that it doesn't. It's not on two different levels, and I'm just making sure that I've set my photos down properly because quite often I forget to stick the top edge. So just popping some foam pads under there, and just coming in now with a few decorative brads. I love the brads pack. They're sticky, so they're really easy to apply, and they also come with a few chipboard stickers as well. So added bonus there. So just a few of those in various places. I'm just put a few of those around the little animals at the bottom. I've got a frog and a duck. I love the ducks, they're so cute. And I'm adding a few phrase stickers as well, or not stickers, but labels from the bits and pieces. One at the bottom left says explore and discover, another one says stay curious. At the top of the photos, I've got explore nature and natural. But I always really like the Simple Stories phrases. They're always brilliant, aren't they? They're not too overly cheesy, and they are normally generic enough that I can use them with my photos. So always a big thumbs up for those. I love them. Okay, so I'm just finishing off now with some splatters of white paint, and at this point I have forgotten to add my journaling before I splattered, silly me. So I had to go back and add that afterwards. You can see it there. I've just added it just underneath the title. All right, so that is my layout complete. I hope that you have enjoyed seeing this layout come together. It was lovely to make, so easy. I always love working with these collections. I just find that creating just becomes so natural. So yeah, thank you so much for joining me. That was Nikki Rowland for Simple Stories using Simple Vintage Lakeside.